In this package, Akwa Ibom Assembly confirms Justice Stephen Okon as substantive chief judge. Outrageous electricity bills, state legislators to parley with management of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company. Nestle Nigeria PLC takes Maggi Super Crew competition to Akex. Plus, AKBC Fellowship Chapel holds send-off for Mrs. Elsu Dofia. Details shortly. Good morning and welcome to AKBC 45 News at dawn. I am Blessing Isongu. The State House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of the acting Chief Judge of the State, Justice Stephen Okon, as substantive Chief Judge of the State Judiciary. The confirmation followed the submission of the report by the House Committee on Justice, Judiciary, Human Rights and Public Petitions, which screened the judge for the appointment. Presenting the report on the floor of the House, the chairman of the committee, Otto Bongdem, had explained that Justice Stephen Okon had met all the criteria and was eminently qualified to be so appointed.
The committee was guided by Section 271 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He was interviewed on a wide range of issues, and the nominee also presented historical perspective.
The House Leader, Saudo Kirianapan, moved a motion for the confirmation and was seconded by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Effiong Bassey. The Speaker of the House, Elder Anyeka Nwoko, said with the confirmation of Justice Stephen Okon, the clerk should communicate same to the State Governor for necessary action.
As the Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, say aye. President Senate, the ayes have it. I will still not hereby confirmed by this Honorable House as the substantial Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State.
The State House of Assembly has directed the management of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to appear before her executive session to clarify issues bordering on exorbitant billing of electricity consumers in Akwa Ibom. This followed deliberations on a motion on exploitative electricity billing in the state, sponsored by the member representing the Ona State constituency. Otuekong Sesien. Chris Nkan has the details.
The sponsor of the bill, Mr. Nse Essien, had argued that for some time now, electricity consumers in Akwa Ibom had been subjected to exorbitant bills in spite of the power being generated by the states. He prayed the House to, among other things, urge the federal government and relevant agencies to consider a close monitoring of the distributing company and mete out appropriate sanctions where it is found wanting.
Inviting the Managing Director of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to appear before this Honorable House to explain why his company is levying such unreasonable and exploitative charges on the people of Akwa Ibom State for power not even supply.
In their contributions, the member representing Abak State Constituency, Mr. Friday Iwok, Mr. Mark Esset representing Unsulatai State Constituency, Sir Nsentuen representing Esienrudam State Constituency, Mr. Emmanuel Ekpenyong representing Ini State Constituency, and the House Leader and member representing Oruanam State Constituency, Sir Udo Kirianapan, said they were concerned that the facilities the electricity distribution company is using to exploit Akwa Ibom people are provided by the state government through the people's taxes. They propose that the management of the company be invited to answer certain pertinent questions.
The evidence are not there. Somebody will stay in Port Harcourt and give you a bill for a month of electricity you have consumed.
So there are many problems. The problem of their manipulating the system in such a manner that only the majority will know what they want to achieve. Even if you have a big bill today, we'll still come back and talk about it.
The Speaker of the House, Elder Anyeka Nwoko, said the motion calls for concern because the people of Akwa Ibom State will want the problem to be arrested before it gets out of hand. He said with the mandate, the House of Assembly owes the people a duty to protect them against exploitative tendencies. He therefore directed the clerk of the House to invite the managing director of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to appear before the House Executive Session with the management team to explain the reasons for the exploitation of electricity consumers in Akwa Ibom.
Our government directs that the clerk should write to the managing director to come with the entirety of management of Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to appear before this Honorable House in an executive session to explain why his company is levying such unreasonable and exploitative charges to the people of Akwa Ibom State for power not supply.
Chris Nkang reporting.
The reconstituted Ona Traditional Rulers Council has been inaugurated. The inauguration of the council, which has 14 members with a 2-year tenure, was approved by the state governor, Mr. Udomi Emmanuel. The report is presented in our studios.
Gathering, the president of the council and paramount ruler of Ona local government area, Akwa Ibom, advised members to see the appointments as a call to service. Akwa Ibom, who is the Okwu Ibom Ibio III, also charged them to be loyal, honest, and transparent in order to uphold the sanctity of the traditional institution.
Almighty God, to guide you, to guide you, your children, your different houses.
Barrister Samuel Efok administered the oath of office and oath of allegiance on members of the council.
Do solemnly swear
that I will be faithful,
that I will be faithful,
and bear true allegiance, to the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
so help me God.
In his comments, the Secretary, Ona Traditional Rulers Council, Pastor Idong Rudofia, thanked God for the peaceful reconstitution of the council and appreciated the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Victor Antai, for his untiring effort in directing the affairs of the traditional institution in the state. Responding on behalf of the members, the Chairman, Conference of Village Heads in Ona, Etirung Inyang Idiokban, pledged to justify the confidence reposed in them.
That we shall abide by the code of office, and will also be very, very cordial at any time we may be called upon.
Nestle Nigeria PLC weekend held a cooking competition, the Maggi Super Cook ceremony in Eket. The ceremony, which featured dance, raffle draw, smelling game, and headgear tying competition, drew participants from Eket Senatorial District. Yarino Paul, who covered the event for AKBC 45 News, reports that the cooking competition was won by a businesswoman from Ikodabasi local government area, Eke Carabon Williams.
According to the organizers of Maggi Super Cook, the competition, which holds in all the zones of the country, seeks to improve women's cooking using Maggi Cube.
Maggi Super Cook, it's all about celebrating women in the neighborhood for buying our brand, bringing them together for them to participate in the Maggi Super Cook activation, the cooking competition, whereby they learn new things, they learn new recipe and how to prepare good meals.
We're going around all the South, and today is time to be here.
If you want to make use of your Maggi to cook your dishes, we advise that you put in your Maggi star, that's the standard cube first. Then you taste. If you're okay with the taste, you stop there. So it's not necessary you add salt in your dishes.
Before the cooking, participants, which numbered in hundreds, were engaged in dancing competition and won instant prizes. Other competitions were smelling game, where participants were blindfolded to identify seasoning by perceiving them, followed by suya story and tying of gele in few minutes. In the Maggi Super Cook competition, every participant was rewarded with gifts and Maggi products. Also of interest was the fact that Nestle treated the children to Milo moments where the kids competed and won several Milo products while participating in different games. Before the main event, the judges announced that the cooks selected randomly will be judged on food presentation, nutrition and balance, recipe creativity, taste, and time management. After minutes of preparation of melon soup with Gary using different ingredients, recipe, and Maggi cube, the judges and the nutritionist tested the dishes and confirmed Ekerebong Williams the overall winner of the cooking competition. Blessing Anwana came second, Grace the Saint third, Comfort Zikbe clinched the fourth position, Edu Margaret came fifth, while Demilola Sunday took the sixth position. Gifts ranging from microwave oven, pressure pots, cooler, pails, sets of plates were presented to winners who took the time to appreciate Nestle and Maggi for the gesture.
I'm grateful. I just want to return all glory to God for making it possible for me to be the number one in everything. I think it's done by far, but God has favored me. With the cooking competition, the Maggi Super Cook has come to an end selected from Essex Sports Stadium. They are the report.
We have more news for you after this short break. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. The Christian community in AKBC, under the aegis of the AKBC Fellowship Chapel, has organized a send-off for the immediate past acting Director General of the corporation, Mrs. Elsie Udofia, and a Deputy Director of Marketing, Mr. Christopher Idet, who have retired from service. The event took place at the corporate headquarters of the AKBC, Udodoma Avenue, Uyo. The report is there presented.
Speaking, the Director General of AKBC, Pastor Anetia Ube, described the immediate past acting Director General as an asset who is loved by many. Speaking on the theme, God's DNA, the Director General noted that God put something special in man at creation, adding that those in Christ can do all things. He further said that Christians carry Christ's DNA and that defines them as children of God.
You want to stand up and be counted, step out from where you are, step to the tracks, and then you can make a difference.
Also, the Director of Marketing, Mr. Etop Apanya, commended the efforts of the one-time acting Director General and recalled how supportive she was to the fellowship while in active service.
She was here almost sometimes the first. She was always here before most of us here will come. She never joked with this place. It was during her time that we had the first night prayers in this place.
In their parting words, the former acting Director General, Mrs. Elsie Udofia, narrated that her life is full of testimonies while thanking God for His faithfulness. She urged the Christian faithful to always worship God in all seasons and at all times.
God has been faithful. I think it's only once in my life throughout that I ever stayed out of work because of ill health. That was about the time we wanted to commission this existing transmitter of the TV.
The former Deputy Director of Marketing, Mr. Chris Edet, also thanked the corporation for giving him the opportunity to serve.
Especially the management of AKBC for giving me that opportunity to serve and excel. I wish AKBC the best and all the staff here. May God bless all of you
Prayers were offered for God's continued blessings on the retirees, and gifts were presented to them in appreciation for their services to the corporation. Ebuka Okafor reporting.
The usual peaceful and serene atmosphere of Mbiatogetam Itu local government area was disturbed as the village hosted guests who thronged there to pay their last respects to the late Professor Ekong Okon, who died at 65. The funeral, which took place at Government Primary School Mbiatogetam, was conducted by the First Baptist Church, Akai Dareyo, with members of the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council, led by Governor Domi Manuel, in attendance. Udwari Ekong has the details.
Professor Ekong Udo-Okon was the first Nigerian professor of brewing science, pioneer head of the Department of Brewing Science, University of Uyo, pioneer chairman, Central Research Laboratory Committee, President, Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, and until his demise on Wednesday, October 21, 2015, the head of Department, Food Science Technology, Faculty of Agriculture in the University of Uyo. Expressing his condolences to the bereaved family, Governor Domi Manuel described the demise of Professor Ekong Udo-Okon as a monumental loss to the state, considering his academic records and his mastery of the field of brewing science in Nigeria, as well as his position as the first Nigerian professor of brewing science.
He was a remarkable model in his area of academic discipline. We urge the family, the academia, the church, and the community alike to be consoled that though our brother is gone to be with the Lord, believe me, his legacies live on.
In a sermon, Reverend Barnaby Akpan urged Christians to live worthy lives, knowing that death awaits all.
As the book of Daniel records, we are in the last time. Many things are happening. And we are here this afternoon to listen to his word so that I and you may not be ashamed.
Condolence messages were received from the University of Uyo, Uyo Club, Special Marshals Unit of the Federal Road Safety Corps, and other groups. The late Professor Ekong Udo-Okon is survived by his wife and retired permanent secretary, Ikaite, a daughter, 3 sons, brothers, cousins, and other relatives, including Senator Aneti Okon, Dr. Awak Okon, and the Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Kanokon.
Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to the just.
Udwakeko reporting.
Senate President Bukola Saraki calls for sustained trade relations with France. Venezuela opposition wins major seats in parliament. Details of these and more in our national and foreign news package with Samuel Ayara.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has called on the French government to be more decisive in supporting Nigeria's anti-terror war, especially the Boko Haram insurgency. Saraki made this known in a meeting with French Senate leader Gerard Laka at the COP21 Globe Parliamentary meeting in Paris, where he urged the French government to step up and assist her former colonies in West Africa. He canvassed for support to complete the Lake Chad project and demanded the strengthening of existing trade relations with Nigeria. 3 Nigerian soldiers have lost their lives in a battle against Boko Haram terrorists in Sambisa Forest, according to Army spokesman Sani Osman. Tragedy, according to official report, occurred during a gun battle which saw many terrorists killed and several of their captives rescued. This recent offensive is coming on the heels of the December 2015 deadline given the military to completely rid the nation of insurgents, especially in the troubled northeast. And on the foreign scene, U.S. President Barack Obama has called on Americans to rise against allowing ISIL win with suspicion and hate against Muslims. Describing ISIL as a cult of death, Obama called on American Muslims to be enlisted in the effort to eradicate the group. He linked last week's deadly shooting rampage in California to the influence of the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant group during a rare televised speech on Sunday. Meanwhile, the American president has called for strict gun control as well as a review of visa programs, which has made the nation's borders vulnerable and accessible to attackers. Venezuela's opposition party, the Socialist, has won an overwhelming victory in parliamentary elections over Hugo Chávez's party. The major political shift in the oil-rich nation, which is mired in economic turmoil and violent crime, came with the rising concern over fallen oil prices. 5 hours after polls closed, the Electoral Commission said that the opposition had won 99 of the 167 seats in the National Assembly, while 22 seats are undecided.
Before we go, a quick reminder that you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45 or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. Here's a recap. The State House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Justice Stephen Mokol as substantive Chief Judge of the State Judiciary. The confirmation followed the submission of the report by the House Committee on Justice, Judiciary, Human Rights and Public Petitions, which screened the judge for the appointment. The State House of Assembly has directed the management of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to appear before her executive session to clarify issues bordering on exorbitant billing of electricity consumers in Akwa Ibom. We also brought you a report that Mrs. Eki Karabon Williams has won the Maggi Supercook competition held in Eket. That was the news. Thanks for being a part of it. I'm Blessing Samuel. You have a great day.